Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Celebrate You, the podcast on personal development, money, and entrepreneurship for you, the modern woman. So many of you have been asking different platforms and face-to-face about crypto. So instead of me doing a rant about crypto, I decided to bring you an expert and ex-colleague. So today we have Dag, that is Dagmara Aldrich, and she is the Chief Operating Officer at Zumo, a crypto wallet and payments platform. And she will basically educate us today on all things crypto. So Dag, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you, Moni. What an introduction. Thank you so much for having me. I certainly wouldn't call myself an expert. Apprentice. I am a crypto apprentice, and I'll do my best to share what I've learned in the last year, and then maybe point you in some other sources. But there is a lot to learn, and a lot is happening in the space. So it's you're never an expert, I feel.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're right. There's so much to learn, and especially it's new for everyone. Like
it is.
There's not the crypto experts, like the ones that started this maybe 10 years ago. It's still recent.
I know it is, and it changes so much. The technology is advancing, and so yes, I think we sort of building the future whilst learning ourselves.
Exactly. Awesomeness. So before we get into crypto as such, can you tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, and how you ended up being A, COO, which is impressive, and B, in crypto company?
Sure. Okay, well, who am I? Well, let's start at the beginning. So I am a Polish expat, adopted Brit. I lived in Britain now for half of my life, which is a lot. A daughter of two farmers, first to go to university. And I guess as a child, I perhaps didn't conform to what was expected of a girl. In my culture, I was always told that I was a little bit too much, too curious, too demanding, too outspoken. But that I suppose that served me well. Exactly. I was always very curious, and I loved learning. My cousins used to joke that I was a total nerd because I hate summer holidays when there was no school and no opportunity to learn. So bit of a bookworm. I studied history of theatre when I was in Poland, and then when I moved to the UK, I actually flipped and finished a degree in history of modern art and literature. So completely unrelated to anything I do. And I suppose, when I reflect back on it, part of the reason why I studied the subjects was because I loved it, but part of it was because, in where I came from, girls didn't study science or business or those male subjects. So I studied what I loved, I suppose. I live in Midlands in Northampton with my partner Alistair and my cat Mr. Bear, and I always joke that it's quite funny. I love water. It's anything to do with water, any water sports, and I live the furthest from the UK coast you can. So the pipe dream is get a house with access to water when I retire.
Yes, go near the water
on crypto.
Exactly.
That's the plan. Nice. So that's who I am. Your second question was, well, how did I end up where I am right now? Well, I always think that I didn't really plan to end up being chief operating officer. Although my family jokes that when I was a kid and I was asked what I wanted to do when I was grown up, I used to tell people that I want to rule the world. So maybe subconsciously,
maybe running the world.
But no, my career mostly started in project management and delivery functions, and I worked predominantly financial services and payments, and for me, as I say, I never sort of thought of like, oh, I must have certain job title by certain time. For me, it was always about mastering and growing my skill set. So whenever I thought of should I take this job, or what should be the next job I'm looking for, it was always about three things. So one, can I deliver positive impact immediately? So do the skill set that I already have is going to lend itself so I can make progress, I can make positive impact. So number one. Number two, am I going to learn something, either a new subject matter or whatever it is? Is there opportunity to learn? And thirdly, and that's the one that often women struggle with, am I going to grow and be exposed to something that I've never done? So am I going to really stretch myself and just be brave enough to figure out how, as I go along? So that's, it never was about thinking about career in that sort of
career ladder.
As a sort of ladder. It's more like, as long as I am learning, growing, and delivering positive impact, I'm good. I don't care what the job title is.
Oh, that is such a good framework. I'm taking notes as you speak.
And and it's hard at times, because I think we always have tendency to comparing ourselves to other.
Yes.
So I had to work really hard to just focus on my journey and not others' journey. And for me, the ambition was always about that growth and mastering of whatever I was doing. And when I mastered whatever I was doing, then let's move on. Let's find something else.
Yes.
Yeah. So I made my transition into operational type of role about 4 years ago. Okay. And it was, sheer sort of accident, I suppose. But actually it wasn't. So, I was fortunate enough to be approached by someone that you may remember from Barclaycard, Camilla Sanner.
Yeah.
Who I worked with at Barclaycard. And she just joined Valitor. And again, she was one of those people that could see beyond the job titles. And she felt that I had all the skill set to do the job of running operations for Valitor. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got in. I mastered my craft. I learned new things that I've never done before. I ran customer support function. I migrated it from Iceland to the UK. I took on onboarding, which I've never done before, and grew my skill set. So. And
you didn't have operations experience before?
No.
That is such a good piece of experience to share with everyone, because our careers, we're like, for example, I'm in product, so it's like, oh yes, product, but no, maybe it's exactly where can you grow next, where can you deliver impact, and then exactly what do you like? It's
and
not
and again, I think
path.
And I think we often recruiters and recruiting manager can think very narrowly in terms of like, oh, well, if you're in product, then you must continue in product. So, but it's about the, skill set, which is transferable. So, you in product, you will learn how to manage pieces of work. So you would make a good, project leader as well. Yeah. So I think it's, sometimes it's about finding the people that can see beyond that. And Camilla was that person for me in making that transition. And then again, when I was approached by Zumo, it was through someone else that I worked with at Valitor. They were in talks with Zumo on a potential piece of business. And again, he believed that I had the right skill set to be Chief Operating Officer. He introduced me to Paul and Nick, the co-founders. Yeah. And again, they sort of, looked beyond the fact that I didn't have that job title. I had all the skills that they needed to, for the business at that time. And they said, yeah, come on board. So, here I am.
That is
Um,
amazing. It's a really good story, and it opens up our minds to how to think about our careers.
yeah, and I think it was a mixture of really, as I said, hard work, that pursuit of self-improvement and growth, but also having a network of people that could see beyond your job title, could see your potential, and were not afraid to take a chance on you. So that's really how I got here.
If you were to look back, and it's like, how would, or yeah, deconstruct that, how can we create that network of people? Especially now that it's like we are all in the computer. We're not
Yeah.
working face to face.
You know what? I think for me, it has to come from a place of authenticity and genuinity, because I am a terrible networker. I hate
I think no
networking
one
events.
likes
I hate
networking.
going to
No one
conferences,
likes that.
and I am just terrible at it. But all the people that have helped me in my career, professional career, have truly meant something to me and had something that I admired in them. And I took opportunity to always go and say, you're really good at this and I want to be good at this. Can you help me be good at it?
Yeah.
And that really true, personal connection is really how you build a powerful network that isn't based on transactional, or I've got a product to sell, you've got a product to sell.
Yeah.
It's truly connecting on the much deeper level. So I think that's how I got the network. It's not a big network, but I put a huge value on all those people that are in my network.
Yeah.
They do mean something to me.
And you're right, it's not about the large network, but it's about meaningful connections, meaningful people, like people that I've worked with in the past, well, including yourself. But it's like I've learned like so much from many people. And let's say you and I worked together 7 years ago, and I still remember being in those committees and looking at you and Verena and like all these other women, strong women.
Yeah.
To my mind, it's like you create a memory of how you behave in the boardroom, for example.
Yes.
And then you start learning from that.
Particularly, you say with women, we still have not enough role models for our girls. And when you do meet those authentic women and you sit with them and you just think, oh my God, you absolutely rock. That's who I want to be. That's the woman I want to be. And you may have limited interactions, but that is meaningful to you because it creates that memory and that sort of,
And you learn by osmosis, kind of. You learn by observing, not osmosis. You learn by observing them and how they behave. And you're like, yeah, that's how one behaves.
That's exactly it.
Awesome. Well, you have a very, very interesting story on career growth, a different way of approaching it. That's super cool that you shared that. Thank you. Okie dokie. So now let's go into it. Crypto. And I'll ask the questions, let's say, on behalf of my friends that they ask me all these questions. But let's start with the very basics. What's a cryptocurrency?
Okay. So, in essence, cryptocurrency is a blockchain-based decentralized platform. And as a financial blockchain, it means that it's not controlled by any central bank or a fiscal authority. So that's the main difference. Obviously, when we think of currencies, they're controlled by central bank. Well, with crypto, instead, the blockchain, which crypto is built on, is controlled by a peer-to-peer network of computers. And that network of computers is performing, millions of really complex calculations, whilst at the same time recording and managing the sort of transactional footprint. And the cool thing about crypto and blockchain is that it is super secure because it uses cryptography to make it secure. The fact that it's decentralized, it makes it also unmutable, because not one person controls whether the transaction happened or not. It has to happen by consensus of the entire network. So therefore you can't cheat.
Yes.
It is also, really focused on privacy and accessibility, because again, because it is open source, anyone can have access to crypto and to blockchain, and it's not controlled by the institutions that are managing those financial products.
It's a beautiful explanation, because it's also like, I like how you explain that it's like a network of machines and the security, because then it brings it to life. Thank you. Okay,
good.
So another question that I get a lot is, why should I invest in crypto now?
Okay, well, I don't think I can answer the question why you should.
Yes.
Because investment is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
But what I would say, well, why is crypto important? I think, like with any very young industry on the brink of becoming mainstream, I guess if you invest now, you probably are going to reap a higher rewards. But also because I genuinely believe that it's the future of financial services, and it's never going to sort of replace the traditional financial services, but I think it complements it beautifully, and it can solve for certain things that financial services can't, traditional payments industry can't, or doesn't want to. So for me, if I think about crypto as purely in its, as a form of payment or storing value, it can really solve for the problem of, in economies and countries with civil unrest or economic unrest, where actually the traditional currencies are even more volatile than cryptocurrencies. And there is an application of crypto there in order to, help with that. With Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin has a there is a limit on the number of Bitcoins that ever will be mined. Therefore, actually, inflation doesn't apply to some of those currencies. They much more secure form of payments, and also they give you an ultimate control of, you don't have to rely on bank and the people that run banks. You are fully in control of the assets itself, should you wish to choose a non-custodial wallet. It's also a good form of investment. So, and obviously it carries risks, which you need to assess and you need to be comfortable with. But if you think about traditional form of investment that are sort of generic and accessible to the broader society, like saving accounts or traditional ISAs, I mean, the returns, because of where we are economically, are minimal. The most you are going to get is 0.5 APR, whereas with crypto and their yielding products, the returns are much higher. So anything between 5 to 10% you can get in return.
Yes. Oh, can you expand on that? Because I don't think everybody knows, because you use the word yielding products. Like, for people who are listening and do not work in banking or tech and have not invested in product in crypto, then yielding, well, it's just a random word.
I know, I hate the word yield as well. And the way I explain it is literally like having a saving account, but using crypto. So what you do is you find, it's a fairly new product into the market. So you can basically take any crypto that you hold, and you can lend it to a business, who in turn is going to probably trade it, lend it to other people, and they basically share their returns with you in the form of
interest,
percentage of an APR. So it's just like having a saving account, but it just pays you more. And of course, depending on the level of risk you want to take, the return can be, as I say, between 5 to 10%. Less risk, less return; more risk, more return. So that's that. And I think crypto is also important, because I think that's its most important application. There's loads of sort of ongoing experiments happening. Is financial inclusion. So I firmly believe that because cryptocurrencies are open source and they are not centrally controlled, they can advance financial inclusions. And there are many experimentations going on with many different organizations where we building peer-to-peer lending products. We building better remittance. So sending money, something that I'm sure it's something that impacts you. If you want to send money from Malaysia to
the
your
UK
home
or to Mexico, yes,
the fees are huge. So again, with cryptocurrency, because it's borderless and because it's the network is worldwide and you don't have to sort of translate it, that the cost of the remittance can be significantly reduced. And because it's not centrally controlled, and the only thing you need really to start playing is a phone,
yes,
then all of a sudden it becomes so accessible. And I firmly believe that it can revolutionize what the future looks like, really.
That's a very good point, especially when it comes to inclusion. How do I buy crypto? How do I open a crypto account?
Mm-hmm. Well, so I would encourage anyone and everyone to obviously do your research, because
Yes.
there will be multiple providers out there, and so do your research, and sort of I think there are key questions that you need to answer before you then find the right provider. So the first question is, do you want a custodial or non-custodial wallet? The difference.
That's a great question. Yes. And what does that mean? When I first opened mine, I'm like,
yeah.
What?
So the key difference between custodial and non-custodial is, so non-custodial wallet, every cryptocurrency wallet will have two sets of keys, a private and public keys. And in a non-custodial wallet, you are the only person that has got access to your private keys. And all of the transactions happen on blockchain. So when you purchase crypto, it happens on blockchain, it's recorded on blockchain. And when it's confirmed, it appears in your wallet. You can withdraw that money at any time. You can send that money wherever you was. So you've got much greater flexibility. And usually the associated fees are lower than with a custodial wallet. I guess the risks or the disadvantages are that because you are fully in control of your non-custodial wallet, if you lose the access to your private key, or it's also referred to as a seed phrase, that's it. No one can recover it.
Don't.
Even when you go to the wallet provider, they don't store it, they don't have it, they can't reset it for you. That's it, it's gone. So, with that come greater responsibility. So you have to think about it. Do you want to have that responsibility, but therefore the ultimate, control and freedom that it gives you? Or would you rather someone else look after your keys for you?
Like
the other thing is
bank good.
Exactly that.
Yes.
That. And with sometimes the disadvantage of having a non-custodial wallet, if the speed of transaction is really important to you, that can sometimes, when the markets go crazy and Elon Musk tweets something inappropriate yet again, and everyone goes buy or sell, and the network goes crazy, there is a there can be a latency issue, so it can take even few hours sometimes for your transaction to be confirmed, and that can be unsettling. With a custodial wallet, in essence, is no different than a sort of bank. Custodial wallets tend to be controlled by organizations, often crypto exchanges, and they will have access to to your keys, and they will, when you instruct them to purchase something, that transaction will happen immediately, because they will just simply make a ledger update. In the same way in traditional payments, someone pays you money, it appears on your bank account immediately and it clears in the background. So the very similar process to that. What the disadvantage of custodial is that often the fees are higher, and also when you want to go what we call off ramp, i.e. you want to take your crypto and send it to someone externally, you either will be stung with big fees, or you will have to exchange it into fiat currency and again pay a premium for it before you can then utilize it. And you don't actually own the asset. The asset is owned by the organization. You just sort of it appears as though you own it, but actually physically you don't, because it's not on blockchain. You don't you don't own it. So I think that's the first thing. What is it that you want? Is it custodial or is it non-custodial? I think the second thing is how much do you want to invest, and how often? And I would say you should always only invest as much as you're willing to lose.
Exactly.
Because there is no bank that is going to guarantee, if someone goes bust, the government is not going to return your savings or whatever. When it goes down,
it's gone.
It really does.
Yes.
So really figure out, well, how much am I willing to invest, and how often I want to invest, and how often I want to invest, and sort of the term of investment again may determine of what product you use. So if you want like a long-term investment, you may just want to purchase some Bitcoin and just leave it in your wallet, sitting there, hold it, and wait for it to appreciate in value.
Yes.
If you want to think of something like a mid-term investment, then yielding product might be something that you want to consider, because then you can take your crypto, invest it in that little saving account and get returns, every quarter, every 6 months, every year, you get extra on the top of it. And then if you want to, make money short term, then you may want to look into like DeFi trading, so like Uniswap or SushiSwap, and but that's, I think I would say that's much more advanced, although the DeFi trading sort of makes it slightly easier for you because it's obviously automated, and that's their whole point, that is programmatically done, what you purchase and how you swap it for what. So I think these are the key things that you need to answer, and then find the right solution. And I would say find a provider which isn't afraid of regulation. It's a common misconception that cryptocurrency is not regulated, and therefore we all crooks. That's not true. Any reputable provider will embrace regulation. We Zumo ourselves, we are on the temporary register for 5MLD, and we are in the process of securing our EMI license. We fulfill all of the regulatory requirements that any bank would, and we take our regulatory obligations very seriously. So just do your due diligence, and find people you trust and sources you trust, and read and educate yourself before you make an investment.
That's the best advice. Go and educate yourself before you make an investment, because then at least if the financial investment doesn't pay off in the long term, the education investment did, and then you learned something in the process.
100%.
Exactly. Then another question that I got the other day, and this one I was like, I don't know. So maybe how do I create a cryptocurrency? I was like, I don't know. I have to think about that.
how do you create cryptocurrency?
Yeah, if you are like, like somebody came up with Bitcoin, somebody came up with Ethereum. What if I want to come up with my own cryptocurrency and then trade it in your app?
I don't know either, Monica, quite frankly.
One of my friends asked me and I was like, oh, I don't know. I've never asked that question before.
But I know someone that definitely, our CTO, who's an amazing blockchain developer. I'm sure he will know the answer. So I'll find out and let you know.
Okay, yes, let me know. Because the other day I was very curious. I was like, no, I really don't know. I would have to do some research. Google will always tell us the answer. How do I start?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else that you think, if I'm a novice investor, anything else that I should know about crypto before opening an account and getting into it?
Yeah, as I said, only invest as much as you're willing to lose. Find reputable provided it embraces regulation. Also, if it sounds like too good a deal, it probably is. So again, there are those sort of urban myths and stories of people making millions and buying Lamborghinis,
Yeah,
on Bitcoin. That happened maybe once, twice in the history of the whole industry. So just be cautious and make sure that that it sounds like a kosher idea.
yes.
And also, if you have a non-custodial wallet, never give your seed phrase. So very similar to, again,
Never
any
give your
traditional payment.
password.
Absolutely. A bank never will be asking you for your full card number. No provider should be asking you for your seed phrase. So just really that. But you've asked at the beginning, how do you start? Well, the best way to start is to start.
Exactly. Yes.
So
that's what I told my friends. It's like, just start, but like buy
just do it.
$10 or 10 pounds,
exactly.
10 whatever your currency is, buy 10, and then even the process of opening the account
exactly
teaches you something. When I opened my account, I think I opened like 3 or so. And I was like, oh, this is so stressful. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I work in the industry. I know how to do this. But I was like, oh, I don't understand. And one of the exchanges, their interface is not friendly. And you're like, what? How do I do this?
I think that's actually quite a common sort of thing in the industry. I think because it's such a complex and technically complex blockchain itself, I think loads of people that created those things, they are very, very clever people, and they love the sort of geekiness that goes with it, but therefore perhaps they don't think of user interface. That's not their priority, and that's something that actually we trying really hard at Zumo to overcome. Make it really easy and intuitive, because that's the way you get people that are curious but just a bit apprehensive to just cross the threshold and just dip your toes into it. Start small, keep learning, and then keep building, and then start simple and then go into more and more complex products. That would be my advice.
Awesome, thank you. And then I think this is towards the final set of questions that people ask me. What's the difference between a crypto exchange and a crypto wallet?
So crypto wallet, it's basically, which is what it says, it's a wallet. It enables you to store, hold, send, and spend your cryptocurrency. So it's a little bit like a vault in a bank, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas crypto exchange will enable the transaction of exchanging one crypto with another crypto or with fiat currency. So it's a little bit like, I suppose, going to the bank counter and saying, oh, could I order some dollars and could I pay with it for, with my GBP because I'm off on sort of holidays. And often the two are not mutually exclusive. Often, one go with another. We at Zumo, we have we not exchange ourselves, but we are integrated with an exchange. And we enable you can buy Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin SV, and exchange it into GBP at the moment. But we work with a third-party provider. So it's really, what do you focus on? Are you? It's one is a little bit like Visa network, whilst the other one is a little bit like a bank, isn't it? So wallets are a little bit like banks, whereas exchanges are more like, I suppose, the Visa network.
Yes. Oh, that's such a beautiful distinction, because I think between normal people, sometimes we use the two of them interchangeably, but they are not. They're not the same.
They are not.
They're not the same. Okay, so then how about if I'm a small business? Well, if I'm a business, and then in the UK, PayPal now rolled out the, hey, you can pay with crypto, this, the other. What's the good, the bad, the risky elements, non-risky elements of, as a business, taking crypto as a form of payment?
Well, I don't know whether there is, I guess it depends on what does your customer, is there a need for your customer, base? Because it should be really driven by a customer demand, do you in that type of, do you run the type of business that is likely to process much of those payments themselves? Again, with PayPal, they a custodial wallet type of a wallet, so it's not like your I suppose they ultimately are just facilitating that process for you of accepting and then giving you that payment in Bitcoin. And I don't know actually how it works in PayPal, whether your balance is held in the cryptocurrency or whether they convert that balance into fiat. I don't know how that works. It's, as I say, I would say that I don't really know. I think I would say it should be definitely driven by your customers needs. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't do it because it's a it's a fun
brand.
Gimmick. Exactly that. If you're not going to, if your customer is not going to use it, then what is the point of doing it? But I do think that as a business, I think actually where the application could be much greater, depending on your supply chain, is actually in the remittance and B2B payments. Because if you think about if you've got very distributed supply chain, particularly if you're dealing with countries like African countries or some Asian countries, that actually I think could deliver benefit in terms of that remittance piece again, in a business to business payment. I think that's an interesting use case where I think actually cryptocurrency could have much greater application and deliver much greater benefit, accepting payments in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is
Yes, because I've thought about it and I was like, if I have an online shop and I sell, I don't know, whatever I sell, t-shirts, and I accept crypto, well, yeah, my customers, do they want to pay with crypto? For example, someone like me, it's like, well, I bought some crypto, but I'm seeing it as a form of investment.
Yeah.
So even if the shop tells me, oh, we accept crypto, I'm like, okay. It's like, I'm not going to pay you with crypto, I'll pay you with my pounds.
Well, this is it. And I think, for me, again, there are so many different tokens, and I think they have distinct utility. So, for me, someone accepting Bitcoin, I don't intend to purchase anything with Bitcoin, because for me it's a form of investment, long-term investment, and Bitcoin was, you know, designed in sort of storing value. Really, it wasn't designed as a you know, payment facilitating type of currency. I don't think it's the best. You know, the fees it's volatile. The fees can be quite high. So I don't think actually I would be using you know, Bitcoin for that. Bitcoin SV, much cheaper, much faster actually as a blockchain itself. So actually it probably has better utility as a traditional form of what we think of a traditional currency. So I think, you know, different tokens will have different utilities. So think about it in, you know, in that way as a business. You know, how likely is someone spending their Bitcoin to buy ice cream? I don't think that likely. But are there other tokens that are better suited, or could you utilize, as they say, blockchain to manage your B2B payments if you have particularly complex supply chain?
Awesome. This sounds like the future is here, and it's just going to be accelerated. It's very interesting to think about it, like in 5 years' time.
It is, and I think it's, you know, it's super exciting to be. I don't think I don't know about you, but I maybe well, actually, we all, I think, have just gone through and were part of and witnessed something historic with the pandemic. Yeah, but not often are you part of something that I think will be written in the history books. And I do genuinely believe that, you know, cryptocurrency and blockchain application, we are just at that cusp of the industry just exploding into the mainstream. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be part of that, and, you know, hopefully being mentioned sometime in the future in history books, that, you know, we were at the forefront of it.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, Dag, for joining us in the show. It's been extremely insightful and informative. So thank you for all your insights. Where can people find you if they want to know more, either about your career journey or Zumo?
Well, so firstly, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love talking to you and reconnecting, and, you know, going on a bit of a reminiscence journey. You can find me on LinkedIn, Dagmara Aldrich, or you can find me on Twitter, also Dagmara Aldrich, and you can find me on Instagram with Dagmara Aldrich. Nice and simple.
Awesome, perfect. And then if people in the UK want to use your app as a wallet, where can they find it?
Go to zumo.money, our website, follow us on, we have a great community called Zumo Community on Telegram, or find us on LinkedIn under Zumo, and there is loads of amazing resources. We've got one of the most amazing marketing directors, and she's doing an amazing job at you know, removing the cryptic from crypto and making our conversations about crypto as simple as possible.
Yes, because it's about that. It's about making it easy and simple,
accessible,
just like day to day, rather than that thing of crypto that I don't want to talk about.
Exactly that.
Amazing. Well, Dag, thanks again one more time. And everyone, just like every week, I'll ask you to re-listen to the show and then take one thing, one takeaway, and then go and implement it. In this case, it may be research, go and open a wallet, or just like think about opening a wallet, but just get a little bit closer to crypto. It's not that scary. Okie dokie, everyone. Thank you so much, and speak to you next week. Thank you. Bye.